Alright people, what is happening? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2021 My Team series here on the channel. We are in season 4, it is a brand new season. We are on the second race today in Imola. If you did miss the first race of the season in Bahrain, make sure you check that episode out on the channel. It'll be the last upload that you can see if you do click on the channel. And if you did miss the pre-season video, I'd recommend you start from there, the pre-season of season 4, because then you can see all the driver changes, the transfers. There's been some crazy transfers. Guan Yu Zhou to Ferrari, the most notable one for me, of course. And then you'll see our new teammate, and then in the first race of the season in Bahrain, you'll see the first race against our new teammate. And then, of course, this is the second race today. So, any returning viewers, welcome back. Make sure you are subscribed and hit that like button on the video. And let's get right into the race today here in Imola. If you do remember, in Season 3, if you have been around since Season 3, we had a disaster in Imola. It was our back-to-back engine failures. If you remember, in Season 3, we had engine failure in China. Then the next race was Imola, and we did have engine failure there as well, which resulted in the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas crashing into the back of us at the chicane at the top of the hill, which was not a very nice sight. But getting into qualifying now, very fun track Imola, very fun to drive, especially now that I've got a wheel and pedal setup. I was about to shout out the manufacturer, but they didn't pay me, so I'm not going to do that unless they want to give me a free upgrade on the wheel and pedal setup, but that'll come in time, not right now. But yeah, anyway, back to the lap here in Imola. Very fun to drive. I really like this circuit. So fast. That is the one word I can say to describe. I just feel like you're carrying so much speed constantly through this lap. And on the Delta right now, we are up by 5/10, lost a bit of time through that section there, the most tricky part of that section where you come downhill and then go back uphill. Very tricky section of the track there. As we come through the chicane, we make up a bit of time, even though it was rough coming through that chicane there. Took a lot of curb on entry, which you don't really want to do. You can take a lot of curb, but if you take too much, you will get damage to the undertray of the car. So you don't want to take too much curb. The curbs are very unforgiving around Imola, especially if you knock those little yellow sausage curbs on the inside. We go purple in sector 3 there though, and sector 113 flat. It's only good enough for P3, but this is only Q1 of course. Lewis Hamilton, our teammate, 1.1 seconds ahead. The guy is an absolute monster. Like, he is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know who's going to be able to stop him this season. It's got to be us. Yeah, and we had a little disaster, boys, with this Imola race. I'll tell you more about that later on in the race, once we get through qualifying. But yeah, the only person who can stop Lewis Hamilton is going to have to be us. You saw in Bahrain last time out, if you did see that race, we had the win in our hands until the final lap, and then he just overtook us on the last lap. Yeah, very devastating moments. Hopefully we can bounce back here in Imola, try and snatch the win. And yeah, I'll just get into it now basically, boys. Yeah, so I've done this race, and if you know the series, you know I do these races and I put the different camera angles in to make it look entertaining, make it look like a TV broadcast. As we go purple in sector 1 there, by the way, even though we've not set a delta time yet, you can see on the map in the bottom left. So yeah, so I've done that. I've done the race and I won the race. Yeah, I won the race. Lewis came second. I can't remember who came third. And then I go into the replay to get all the camera angles and stuff to make the video entertaining. Massive snap of oversteer there coming up from the hill. We were lucky not to drop the car. And as I'm watching the replays, I go to skip forward a few laps to get a replay of a certain incident that happened. Guan Yu Zhou, yeah, for Ferrari, spun and put it in the wall and lost the tyre, written off out of the session. So I've gone into the replays, skipped forward a few laps to go and get that. And then I play on Xbox and I've been dashboarded. And I got dashboarded and I've gone back into the game, yeah, after I'd finished the race, as we go fastest in Q2 there, by the way. Solid lap from us, sub 113, it was a 112.9. Hamilton beats us though. We come out again on medium tyres to try and set a lap on medium tyres here. That lap was on soft tyres. I want to try and improve on that time on the mediums and start the race on the mediums, because Hamilton is going to. But back to the story anyway. So yeah, I got dashboarded. I've gone back onto the game, clicked on my career mode save, and it's took me in till before the race. Like, it's took me into where we're on the grid. So I have to do the race all again. So you'll have to see in this episode, in the race, can we, can we win the race again? Twice in a row, the same race. Can we win the same race twice in a row? We use the same strategy, same race. So let's get into it and see what we can do. big moment there. Corner cutting, that would have been invalid lap if we had strict track limits on. And yeah, we're trying to improve on our lap here, trying to push it as much as we can on these medium tyres, but it's just not looking very promising right now. We are still up in the delta, even though we did cheat a bit by cutting that corner earlier on. With 2 corners left, can we stay up in the delta? A bit slow through that corner there, bit slow through that one, and we're going to go red in the delta and cross the line. It's not going to be good enough to qualify on the medium tyres, so we will be starting the race on soft tyres. But Lewis and Max Verstappen getting through on the mediums. They will be starting the race on the medium tyres. Callum Ilott, the other threat here, it seems, in this career mode. Even though I didn't think he'd do that well. But in the Red Bull, Callum Ilott's doing very well. Out-qualifying his teammate at some points as well. So yeah, we're going to start on the mediums. Max and Lewis, who, you know, you'd assume we're going to be in front or behind us, very close around us. Well, obviously they're in front or behind us. That's how racing works. But yeah, like, they're going to be on the harder compound of medium tyre to start the race on. So hopefully we can get off to a good start as we absolutely nail the first few corners of the track there. And we're up 6/10 heading into the hairpin. Purple sector 1, absolutely nailed sector 1 there. I wish I could do that every single lap because I'd be flying, but absolutely smashing it so far. 5/10 up on a 112.5, which is a good lap in itself. Lewis still on that provisional pole though, here in Q3. Can I do anything to stop this, guy? As we bounce over those sausage curbs there, probably took a bit of damage to the undertray. Like I said, we've lost 2/10 coming through that sector alone as we head through the chicane, taking a lot more curb. I just thought if we do have damage from that previous section, I don't care about getting more. And you know, damage doesn't really matter in quali anyway, because you do your lap and then that's it. You go to the race and there's no damage on the car anyway. But crossing the line, hitting the DRS zone, we're going to be 5/10 up. Is it enough to beat Lewis Hamilton? We go purple in sector 1 and sector 3, but it's still not enough to beat Lewis Hamilton. We're still in P2, and it was like 3/10 or something, 2/10 behind him. We were on the front row though in P2, but Max Verstappen has out-qualified us by 11/100ths of a second. Ridiculous qualifying session there. Us 3 at the top, clearly a level above the rest of the pack though. Callum Ilott there, 6/10 behind us, so us 3 at the top, clearly in a different league. Let's get into the race and see what happens there.
Welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track here at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
From the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have the owner driver, Ilott, Lando Norris, and Sainz, Gasly, Ricciardo, Russell, and Yuki Tsunoda, Joe, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, and Aitken, Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Lance Stroll, and Christian Lundgaard, Latifi, Giovinazzi, Tictum, and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
There we have the grid, boys. There we have the strategy. It's going to be soft medium for our strategy on the one stop here in Imola. 5 red lights in Imola, and it is lights out, and away we go. It looks like Lewis Hamilton off to a decent start there. Not as good as me and Callum Ilott though on those soft tyres. Look at me and Ilott there racing wheel to wheel, heading down into turn 1. We've blitzed Max Verstappen wheel to wheel through turn 1. Might have been a bit of contact there between me and Callum Ilott, but we are up into P2. From P3 on the grid, Max Verstappen has been left in the dust in P4, but Lewis Hamilton off to a great start, even on those harder compound medium tyres. He's already a second ahead of us. Can we chase him down as we climb the hill now on these soft tyres? Great start from us to get past Callum Ilott, and of course to get past Max Verstappen there. Up into P2. Can we start to put in some consistent laps? Can we just get into a groove now? That is the key thing. P2, great start for us on the race. And I did mention earlier on about me and Ilott being on those soft tyres compared to Verstappen on the mediums. We would have had a better start. I thought Lewis would have had a slower start than he did, but the guy is an absolute beast. Look at him running away. On the TV camera, he's just about in shot when our car comes into it. But he sets the fastest lap of the race there, of course, because he's in the lead. But heading down the main straight now, we are closing that gap. We're using a lot of battery. Massive straight in Imola, and we close the gap to less than 1 second. So hopefully we can stay within that gap by the time DRS opens at the end of lap 2 here. But we're kicking up a bit of gravel there, pushing the car right to the edge of the track limit. Hopefully we don't push it any further than that, because we will go into a gravel trap and spin out and die. Yeah, purple in sector 1 for us though. Of course, those soft tyres coming in handy compared to Lewis on the mediums, and hopefully we should be setting the pace. We should be setting the pace because we are on the softer tyres, but Lewis does have the fresh air in front of him, of course, which is what we are aiming to overtake Lewis, to drive into, so we can just set some consistent laps on these soft tyres, try and build a gap to Lewis. Not sure what strategy he's going to run. Obviously starting on the medium tyres, if he'll go long on the mediums and switch into softs later on a one-stop, like the reverse of what we're doing basically, or whether he'll go medium hard. We'll have to wait and see what strategy he does go on to. I've actually forgot myself commentating now what strategy he did go on, so it'll be interesting to see later on in the race what he does go on to. But getting towards the end or the middle of lap 3, you can see we are within that DRS range still. Less than 1 second gap to the car in front, and you will get DRS once you cross the detection zone, which is that white line on the floor right there. And as we come out the final corner, we have a great exit out of the final corner, hitting that DRS zone, getting in Lewis's slipstream, setting the fastest lap of the race with a 1:15 flat, and we're going to absolutely fly past Lewis Hamilton. Like I say, a massive straight here in Imola, especially once you get DRS. We go very late on the brakes into turn 1 now, which has compromised our line coming out of it and cost us a bit of time there as well. Lewis might be looking to send one back here around the outside into the braking zone. Can he do it? No, he can't. We managed to stay ahead. Good defensive driving from us, but Lewis showing his pace there. He's not going to let up that easy, and not just let us pass once we do go past. He's always going to fight till the final lap, is Lewis Hamilton. And somebody pointed out that last time out, the Bahrain race was literally like a pretty much a carbon copy of what happened in Bahrain in 2013 in real life, or 2014, when Nico and Lewis were battling. And I've realised that me and Lewis this season are going to be Lewis and Nico, because like I said, I'm not on this teamwork stuff, this teammate stuff to try and make the team win. I want to win the Drivers' Championship this year, so I'm going to be Nico Rosberg. Lewis can be Lewis Hamilton, and we're just going to fight every race until the end of the season. Speaking of fighting, here comes Lewis. He's got DRS on us down the main straight as we head towards turn 1. Is he going to be able to get close enough to make a move into turn 1? Who's going to go later on the brakes? It's a massive lock up there from Lewis Hamilton, and we go wheel to wheel. He bounces over the curb a little, very similar to what happened in real life in 2021 in Imola with Max and Lewis. But Lewis bouncing over that curb there. Didn't lose any bodywork this time though, like he did in real life, but we managed to stay ahead by 5/10 as we head towards the hairpin now to go up the hill. Great racing for me and Lewis there as well. Just literally who can go later on the brakes, and it's just top caliber racing, you know, and that's a great use of the word caliber. But yeah, back to the race, lap 5 now, heading through the chicane. Our soft tyres starting to fall off dramatically. You can see we're setting red sectors already. It's only lap 5 and we're setting red sectors. Haven't been able to improve on that 1:15 flat that we did as the fastest lap. You can see us understeering there through that corner. The grip starting to slowly just slip away a little bit, but we've still got enough pace to keep Lewis Hamilton 1.2 seconds behind us. We will not have DRS for that lap, but 4 laps later now, the tyres really falling off. understeering again, coming out of that corner, and you can see tyre marks in the gravel, which are probably mine from a previous lap. But Lewis is back within DRS range, 4 tenths behind into the DRS zone. Let's see, is he going to be close enough to make a move? I try and stay to the right to try and break a little bit of the toe. But up the inside goes Lewis Hamilton down into turn 1. Who can go later on the brakes? We go really late, trying not to take too much of those sausage curbs because they will damage the car. Coming through again, we manage to stay ahead and take the lead from Lewis Hamilton. Here's a replay of that moment, heading down into turn 1. Again, great wheel-to-wheel racing between me and Lewis. Managing to stay ahead though. How long can we keep this up for? These soft tyres really falling off. I forgot what lap we were meant to box on for the mediums, but hopefully it is soon, because I'm already feeling the impact of these soft tyres absolutely sliding off. You see we're struggling to keep the car on the track there, and that allows Lewis to get the jump on us as we head up the hill into the chicane now. Can we go wheel to wheel through the chicane? It's going to be a tight one. We completely missed the apex there for the exit of the chicane, and we get a warning for making a collision with Lewis Hamilton. Let's see what happened there. Lewis shoots it up the inside, and our back right kisses his front left, so it wasn't too much damage. He didn't take any damage to his front wing or anything like that, but you can see I just tried to go late on the brakes and give him space into the chicane, which actually resulted in Lewis turning into the space and making contact with us. But here on lap 12 again, we're still in the lead of the race. There goes Lewis with DRS though, down into turn 1 yet again. Lewis is going to be ahead into the braking zone, but we're up the inside this time. The roles are reversed and we managed to come out ahead. All the other times we were on the outside heading into turn 1. This time we were on the inside and still managed to come out ahead. But there goes Lewis Hamilton up our inside through the next chicane. As you can see, we managed to stay ahead yet again. It is great racing between me and our teammate Lewis Hamilton, because we're battling so hard with each other. Here comes Max Verstappen. He's in P3. He's only 1 second behind us now. He was a sub 1 second there for a moment. There's a yellow flag somewhere on the track though. I think that's sector 1. And that's going to be the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel. And Sebastian Vettel is out of this race with engine failure. Not good to see. A fellow Mercedes engine car. There's a moment coming out of the pits though. Here comes Lando Norris coming out of the pits, and he's got a Red Bull parked in front of him. It's Callum Ilott, and his Red Bull can't get out of first gear. Couldn't get his car to go there coming out of the pits. That's going to hold Lando up for a bit. Lando Norris, of course, in that Mercedes, having a season-long battle with Carlos Sainz, his teammate. Carl Lando back in Formula 1 on the same team. Lap 13 now, Hamilton comes into the pits on those medium tyres. Let's see what tyres he does go on to, if we can still see it by the time he comes out of the pits. And he's not been overtaken by too many people. But we come into the pits a lap later, or was it 2 laps later, I don't know. But Lewis Hamilton came out on the soft tyres, boys. Now once I saw that, I did start to panic a little, because I thought, okay, that guarantees a 2-stop strategy for Lewis, because he can't go to the end of the tyres, end of the race on those soft tyres. We go onto our mediums, we're going to the end of the race on these medium tyres. And I thought Lewis can't go to the end on those softs, so he needs another stop. But as we come out of the pits now, let's see, it's going to be tight as you come out of the pits, or is it? There goes Lewis flying past us, and he is going to be 1.6. He's flying ahead of us. You see, we went from being neck and neck to Lewis being miles ahead now. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, he's got another stop in him, so he shouldn't be that big of a threat. But the reason why I was scared is because I didn't know the outcome of this. Like I say, when I did this race for the first time, Lewis did medium hard as his strategy, and I won the race easily on the medium softs strategy. But because he's gone medium soft himself, and he's going to go on to soft later on, then I started to panic a little and thought, I don't know the outcome of this or how it's going to play out. And you can see 6 seconds ahead of us now on these soft tyres. Yellow flag down in sector 1 now. Here's Daniel Ricciardo battling with his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, and his contact, and Daniel Ricciardo is around as Yuki Tsunoda races off into the distance. There's a good few cars now overtook Daniel Ricciardo. He's lost a lot of places there as he struggles to get out of the gravel trap. Big controversial moment there for the 2 McLaren drivers as they go wheel to wheel through turn 1. They should have took a page out of mine and Lewis's book. We did that for like 5 laps in a row and didn't make any contact through turn 1. But Daniel Ricciardo losing a lot of places there. But yeah, you can see with the zone that we're in now, we're still in P2. Max Verstappen, he's on a medium hard strategy. He was 1.7 behind us. He's now less than a second behind us. Lewis pulling the gap in front to 10.5 seconds. Another yellow flag down in turn 1, or down in sector 1 actually. And to check this one out, we get on board with Jack Aiken, who has DRS on Fernando Alonso. He's going around the outside into turn 1 on Fernando Alonso. Can Jack Aiken make this move stick? Bounces over the curb and his contact, and Jack Aiken has spun around there. And as he tries to maneuver his car around, there comes the Guan Yu Zhou in the Ferrari, and it's an Alpine, and it's a massive collision there. Jack Aiken getting absolutely T-boned by the Ferrari of Guan Yu Zhou. Let's see, here's him racing against Alonso, and then there's just no space up the inside. He bounces off the curb, exactly what Daniel Ricciardo did a moment ago, and Jack Aiken just pulls back onto the circuit and then stops on the racing line. What is he thinking? What is he thinking there? That's Guan Yu Zhou and Christian Lundgaard in the Alpine getting involved in that 3-car pile up there. Jack Aiken now surprised that he's still moving in the car, and the car's okay to just keep racing. Crazy stuff there. I think Christian Lundgaard lost his front wing. You'll see now. There goes Zhou into the back, or into the side of Aiken, then Lundgaard into the back of Guan Yu Zhou, losing his front wing. But as we check Guan Yu Zhou's front wing, it looks like there's barely any damage. So those Ferrari front wings are so sturdy, I swear to God. But as we head down to Main Straight now, I was worried about Max Verstappen getting DRS on us. And there's a yellow flag behind us, and Max Verstappen is out of the session. So the man who was threatening us from behind, Max Verstappen, you can see he was chasing down there and then just slowed down, and his engine must have gone. So that's a second engine failure in this race. First Sebastian Vettel, now Max Verstappen. Verstappen out of this race in Imola. Absolutely massive moment. Now we don't have a threat from behind. Callum Ilott, the car behind, 9.6 seconds behind us. Lewis Hamilton was 16 seconds ahead, was it? And there he goes into the pit for that next set of soft tyres. Let's race down the Main Straight and see how far of a gap we can pull to Lewis. Getting that ERS deployment as early as possible down the straight here. I'm just going to burn all the battery charge that we have. Down into turn 1, once we overtake Lewis, he has taken the fastest lap away from us as well. We did have that fastest lap point, but Lewis Hamilton on the soft tyres has taken that point away from us. And he's still in the pits now as we race down to the next chicane. Where is he going to come out? 9 seconds behind us. He's going to come out of the pits. He's on fresh soft tyres. So, yeah, can he make up 9 seconds? He's got 9 laps to do it. He needs to go a second a lap quicker, and already he's made up 3/10. I'm looking at the delta in the top left thinking, what has this guy got in his car, bro? He's just made up a whole second in like 3 minutes. 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, 3 seconds. And he's made up a whole second of lap race time, and now it's nearly like he's made up a second and a half. What is this guy drinking? Like, I was going to say Red Bull, but I don't think you'd ever catch Lewis Hamilton drinking a Red Bull. Here goes Hamilton. You can see now he's actually lapping Guan Yu Zhou in the Ferrari. That's how he manages to get past him. And now Lewis Hamilton has nothing but free air in front of him to try and chase us down. And that's probably why he's setting so much fast laps, or he's going so fast, because he's got free air in front of him. You see, there's no cars to lap. Guan Yu Zhou was the last car that he had to lap. And then on lap 26 now, Lewis is right behind us, and he's got within DRS range already. The guy is an absolute monster. Just 3 laps it took him to close a 9-second gap. Like what did they actually feed this guy? What does he have for breakfast? Because that is ridiculous. And now we're struggling on these medium tyres, setting red sectors. Just struggling and panicking because we've got Lewis Hamilton right in our gearbox. I'm not going to be able to keep him behind for 6 laps. So can we just trade DRS trains? You know, we're going down to the DRS detection point now, and Lewis is of course going to get DRS down this Main Straight. So let's see if he's going to be close enough to make him move. You can see us messing up there. I've just bounced over the sausage curbs. I didn't hit them all racing, and now I'm messing up. Trying to pull to the side to break the toe a little. There goes Lewis up the inside, and he is comfortably past us before we even get to the braking zone for turn 1. I have a little look up the inside. Can we go for that? Now we were way too far back to try and send a move up the inside there. That would have been poor racing from me to do that, and we nearly put it in the wall. Going into the gravel, our back tyres nearly kick out, and we nearly put it in the wall. But Lewis Hamilton, the guy is so quick. Look at that, he's already 1.1 seconds ahead, 1.2 seconds as we climb the hill out of the hairpin. I can't believe it. I just can't believe how quick this guy is. So he's cleared us. He's up into P1, 5 laps left in the race. Can we do anything? Nicholas Latifi, get out of the way, you absolute buffoon. But yeah, like, look how quick the guy is, bro. I literally don't even have any words. over them. I hate Microsoft, I hate Xbox. There's Jack Aitken. What is he thinking? He's seeing blue flags and he just slows down on the racing line. Almost made a massive collision there for the second time this race. He's already got a 5-second penalty for causing one collision. You don't want another one, Jack Aitken. Get out the way, you absolute loser. But yeah, I just can't believe we got dashboarded, bro. I'd won the race, and it was a good race. There was a lot of highlights. It was a comfortable win, and I was like, yeah, that was a satisfying win now. But then we go back in. Lewis chooses a different strategy. Yeah, it must have been Lewis who did it, you know. It must have been Lewis. And he's just used the time stone because he's got the infinity gauntlet on, and he saw that I won the race, and then he reversed time, made me Xbox dashboard itself. Here goes Jack Aitken around the outside. What's this guy thinking? He's just been lapped and now he's trying to overtake us again down into turn 1. Jack Aitken, sort your head out, mate. I know you took a massive shunt from Guan Yu Zhou, but lad, if you've got concussion, you're not supposed to race, bro. Absolute crazy man there. But yeah, Lewis turned back time, changed his strategy, and there he goes and collects the checkered flag, wins the race here in Imola. Can't believe it. We crossed the line, no threat from behind. Callum Ilott 12 seconds behind to finish the race, and we finish in P2. I'm not even going to celebrate. Our guy in the car is celebrating, but I'm not going to celebrate because I won this race. I won this race, and then we had to turn back time and do it again, and I came P2. I know I shouldn't really be talking about the other race because it didn't happen technically, and it infringes on the false reality of the narrative of creating a virtual story in Formula 1 campaign. But still, I don't care, bro. I won this race. I spent a whole hour doing this race to win it, just to get dashboarded while I was collecting the highlights. You know what I mean? And then there's Lewis celebrating a Mickey Mouse win. Yeah, this is a Mickey, as we call it. It's a Mickey Mouse win. It's not a real win. Yeah. But we're on the podium anyway. Callum Ilott on the third step. Exact same podium actually as the first race of the season in Bahrain. Of course, Max Verstappen was on for that other podium spot. Max Verstappen probably could have beat us to P2 as well. Max was showing some great pace in this race. But obviously Max retired, so we got lucky there. But we didn't get lucky with the Xbox dashboard in itself when I literally had like 5 minutes left of highlights to gather, and then I would have saved the race. But it is what it is, man. Lewis Hamilton, look at his fastest lap there, a 1:13 flat. That was 1.5 seconds quicker than us. Like, the guy is insane. There's Jack Aitken's 5-second penalty confirmed on the screen. He finishes P15. Absolute loser. Guan Yu Zhou finishing down in P17, started P11 on the grid. Not good. George Russell, who was in the top 10 on the grid, I forgot to mention that earlier, in the Williams. He falls out of the top 10 now at the end of the race, but his teammate Mick Schumacher in the other Williams does make it up into the top 10. Yuki Tsunoda out-qualifying, or out-finishing, outscoring, I should say, Daniel Ricciardo after Ricciardo's spin earlier on. Here's how the driver standings is looking. Lewis, me, and then Callum. And then it is us at the top of the constructors. AlphaTauri moving up into P4 in the constructors. Going to be an interesting battle across that midfield section. I feel like there's not much to separate those midfield teams this season in our career mode. It's only the two teams at the top really that has any sort of say on this championship. After the regulation changes last year, we came out unscathed, but everyone else took a massive hit. Next up is the Portuguese Grand Prix at the Algarve International Circuit in Portimao. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. That will be out on, I don't know when, Friday or Monday. Just subscribe and turn on notifications, bro, and you'll never miss an upload in it. I will catch us next time. People, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take it easy.